Hi, this is The Greatest Story Ever Played. I'm Dan.
I'm Jordan.
And today we're going to be talking about the third issue from the Life is Strange comic from Titan Comics. With that, I guess we'll jump right into the recap for it. So, the issue starts off with the band in Seattle performing. They're doing a song that Pixie wrote, and it's basically about we fight through time and love and care about each other, essentially.
Yeah.
I would say. Her other bandmates are like, oh, who's that about? And she relents and is like, it's about Max and Chloe, guys, shut up.
Yeah. Lay off me.
Lay off me, you're right. And then they're like, oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they just wanted to give her some shit. But the song was cool. It was nice. I liked it. And then we go to the Price House where the issue 2 dropped off last time, and they get a text from the band saying, we miss you guys, I can't wait to see you, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Max and Chloe are laying down in Chloe's old room, which is obviously clearly abandoned since no one lives there.
Yeah. It's kind of weird because there's still stuff on the walls, posters and stuff. So the house definitely didn't get totally destroyed, but it's definitely kind of creepy.
Right. It's clear no one's been there since the tornado. But yeah, all Chloe's shit's still there. It still looks and feels like Chloe's room, but But if The Last of Us happened, and then she went and looked at her room. Yeah, that's kind of what it feels.
It's kind of weird, yeah.
Yeah, so it's strange. Max though is laying down after her nosebleed at the end of the previous issue. Chloe tells Max that it was good that Max got to sleep because Chloe got to almost say goodbye to the house, looking around, getting to kind of see the things. Maybe this is why we're in Arcadia Bay, is to kind of say goodbye. Similar to how she'd speculated in the last issue, to be able to say goodbye to Joyce, maybe.
Yeah, so she's really trying to find, meaning or some kind of purpose behind why they're there, why Max keeps having these, I think they call them flashbacks. Right. Things like that.
Yeah. Chloe says this, a quote that I pulled out that I thought was noteworthy. She says, I remember being here and talking about losing Rachel. I remember feeling so angry at her, at you, at Mom, at David, at fucking everybody. And now that I have lost everybody, and I just can't make myself feel angry at all. So we see that Chloe's changed a lot in the year since Arcadia Bay got destroyed. Obviously through the game, Chloe's quick to be angry, pissed off the world and everyone in it, kind of thing. And at this point, I don't know, just living for a year has really changed that in her. And we've seen her in previous issues still get mad, but it's pretty different than she's mellowed out and changed, I think, quite a lot from this.
Yes. I wonder if some of it she's just kind of broken. you know, I guess we'll kind of talk about this a little bit too, but actually in a second. Well, I'll say this after. Go ahead, read the next part. Yeah,
you're right though, we see that. Max then tells Chloe that she feels like she caused the storm, that Joyce basically told me that because Joyce said there wasn't a storm, and that's when you died, so that makes me feel like I caused this. And Chloe says that Max, there was no right or wrong answer you could have made, and that Chloe's done feeling like she's unworthy of Max's choice, that it is what it is, we need to move forward. Yeah,
and this is kind of where it's I agree with Chloe, they just have to move forward, because I wouldn't go back and try to switch it. Who knows what the consequences of that would be. But yeah, it's almost like she's broken, I think, with the weight of, she's at this point where she's like, okay, we just have to move on. But she's been totally broken getting to that point. That's why she can't be angry anymore or anything. She's got nothing left.
Definitely, yeah. I think that would be pretty breaking, just that, for a year wondering, is it my fault that everyone I know is dead?
Yeah.
How could I ever, do I have to, cure cancer to make it okay? Or something like that?
Yeah.
Because
it'd be one thing for Max to be the one that, made the decision. But for Chloe being the object of the decision, the one who should be dead in her mind, and if she's dead, then everyone else is not dead.
Right.
That'd be a lot to deal with. I don't know how I would do it.
And with Chloe, even before this, feeling like, oh, I'm a fuck up, no one could care about me or anything like that. So you have that, then you see that that's not true.
Yeah.
By having a town sacrificed for you.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. And you're like, okay, well, now what do I do?
Yeah, this sucks too. I don't like this either.
No, right. Yeah. It's like, it's a lot to deal with either way. But yeah, I guess you're right though. I think they just have to move forward. Like they can't. It's been a year. They gotta do what they gotta do. Like,
yeah, somehow deal with it.
Yeah, somehow deal with it and move forward and try to have a normal life. Which it seems like it's good that they were able to at least make friends in Seattle, like that kind of thing. Because they could just be hermits or something. So it seems like they at least have gone out enough to make friends with the band. So that's good at least.
Yeah.
After this, they head to Blackwell, and they go there to see the memorial at Blackwell. Chloe's like looking at it, like taking a peek, while Max is kind of standing around. And Chloe says that there's so many names on it, it looks like a war memorial, which is crazy. Like,
yeah.
I'm guessing that really means that like everyone's dead in Arcadia Bay, or like all the students and like probably everyone we met in the game.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, just wild.
Yeah. So that's pretty wild. But then Warren sees Max and comes and talks to her.
Just like, what?
Yeah, this is trippy.
Yeah.
And Chloe can't see Max, or Chloe can't see Warren, and vice versa. Warren can't see Chloe either. So Max is like, Chloe, is Warren on that list? And she's like, yeah. And Warren's trying to communicate with Max, so Max, of course, freaks out and is like, I killed you. You're here, but I killed you. And she's like, can't deal with it, which, again, makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Super trippy.
And then Max holds Chloe's hand to try to bring Chloe with her, but Chloe isn't able to see him. But we see Chloe, like, fall to the ground holding her head. And so it seems like when you try to cross into a different timeline or whatever, that it physically hurt, like your brain, it seems like it hurts it.
Yeah, which is weird because Chloe was able to do it that first time, last episode or last issue?
Yeah.
Which maybe it's different because in that one she wasn't dead.
Oh, maybe she's dead in this one. So.
I would assume so because Warren's alive. That means, well, maybe she'd have to be dead.
Yeah. Well, I guess too that there's still there's probably timelines seemingly where, well, I guess we'll see that too, but yeah, we'll get there. But either way, it seems to hurt you, and I guess that would fit if Warren's in the timeline that Joyce was in the last issue, that Chloe's dead in that one, so she can't cross over, but trying to fucks her up even more. And obviously, all of these time things have had an issue on Max. Her nose always bleeds when she does it. So after this, there is a timeline shift that occurs. And it's a lively Blackwell Academy. I mean, this seems like what it would be like lunchtime at Blackwell. There's tons of students walking around. And Rachel comes up to talk to Max and Chloe. And Max and Chloe are holding hands because they had just transported through. And she shows them a newspaper that says that Jefferson has been arrested at a different school.
Yeah.
Apparently he had worked at Blackwell but had gotten fired for stealing equipment. And then he got fired, started working at another school, and then he got arrested for sleeping with one of the students.
Yeah. It's better than what he got arrested for.
You're right, in the real timeline.
Yeah, way better.
Yeah, definitely.
Still sucks, but...
Yeah, definitely way better. So that's pretty crazy. That's there. And so also that we're in this, there's a timeline where Max, Chloe, and Rachel are all there.
It seems like the one you'd want to be in.
Right, it seems like the good timeline.
Yeah.
For sure. And then Rachel notices that Max and Chloe are holding hands and asks Chloe if their plans are off tonight and that she should be worried. So,
yeah.
All right, they're together, it seems, in this timeline. So, yeah, weird getting to see that. After this, they switch back out of this timeline to the present. And Max and Chloe realize that these aren't visions that they're having, but that it's a real thing because Max has never met Rachel, but they obviously knew each other in this timeline. You can't have visions of people you don't know.
Yep.
Kind of thing. So realizing that this is more than, I don't know, just seeing stuff.
Yeah.
And also, again, recognizing that Max isn't choosing to do these. It's been through the 2 issues before this that Max is saying, I'm not doing it or trying to do anything. And Chloe seems to sort of believe her, but
Yeah.
it's kind of like, I don't know, or like you're kind of trying to jump
Yeah.
or something. It seems a little. She doesn't. I think she believes Max, but I think she's confused.
Yeah, she's understanding how it works.
Right.
Which neither does Max clearly, but
Right. Yeah. Max obviously doesn't get it either. We just have the benefit that we get to observe it
Yep,
as
from
a
the
third
outside.
party
Yeah.
and get to do it multiple times, read it again, kind of thing. So after this, Chloe decides to go walk off to like process what's going on, and Max says okay, and she just lays down on the fountain because again, after time jumping, Max is fucked up. Max wakes up though, and Warren is there, and Warren starts talking to her, and Warren explains to her that a flicker is what it's like when the timelines contact each other, because Max tries to touch Warren and Warren backs off. He's like, no, don't touch me. This is why it hurts, basically.
Yeah.
And so this flicker, I guess, is what happens when you try to have the timelines interact, like when Max tried to bring Chloe earlier. It hurt them because she's not supposed to be there. She can't go to that timeline because she's not there.
Yep. But Max is in both, which is weird.
Max exists in both. But then I guess why she could see Rachel Amber or why she could be in the diner before is that Chloe exists in that timeline.
Yeah.
So seemingly these timelines are converging of their own will, it seems like. And then you can exist in the other ones if you exist in them, but you can't jump if you're not there. So like Chloe can't be in all the timelines because she's not alive in all of them, but
Yeah.
Max seemingly could exist in all of them at this point because she's in all of them.
Yeah. Yeah, it could be too, like, I don't know how this would work, but if, so we'll just call it the current timeline. So if the current timeline, Max and Chloe, so they're at Blackwell, and let's say a different timeline, Max is at Blackwell too, then they would converge.
Right.
It seems like that's kind of happening.
Oh,
So-
yeah, that's true.
So if I was, and then at the diner too, we see that she walks in and then it's like different, and then Chloe can come too.
Because her and Chloe were coming back to see
Yeah.
Joyce, it seemed like.
And then when Max goes to the Price house, she sees Joyce there, and so maybe Max in that timeline was there too at that time for whatever reason.
Oh, that's interesting.
So I wonder if what the Max and Chloe should do is just go back to Seattle
Yeah.
and stay away from,
Blackwell. So
or move somewhere totally like India or something,
Right,
where
move
a Max and
somewhere
Chloe
Max-
probably wouldn't be anyway.
Right, go where Max and Chloe wouldn't go.
Yeah, I
So
wonder
it-
if that's kind of what's going to happen.
That'd be interesting. And then the other Max and Chloe are also
Yeah, they
trying
all,
to...
yeah. It's like, let's go back to Seattle, and all, but they're also trying to do that.
Right.
This sucks.
No, that's interesting. I like that as that makes a lot of sense though. So that people aren't freaked out when she's there. So she was already there.
Yeah,
So it makes sense that original Max could cross into these other timelines where the other Maxes exist in the same location at the same time.
yeah, but it
No,
seems
that makes sense.
what if it
And-
has to be the same location or
Yeah.
around the same location?
Yeah, that would make a lot of sense because why you could have all these time jumps and why being in Arcadia Bay maybe isn't as good.
Yeah, because there's a lot. That's where they started.
Right, and I guess that you'd have like school is pretty early on October, so school's not too far in session, so that would make sense that she was just a student there then, I guess, when she knows Rachel.
Yeah,
Yeah, huh?
weird.
Yeah, definitely weird. But Warren ultimately explains that him and his Max had this figured out when they'd been doing it. So apparently, also the other Maxes are aware of the time issues as well.
Or at least one other one is.
Yeah, at least one, and have also had flickers like our Max presently.
Yeah,
And so they had to come up with a term for it, and she's working on more and with figuring it out. So
yeah,
I guess that there's probably multiple Maxes that know about the timelines jumping, and perhaps their friends, whether Chloe or Warren or someone else, who also are aware of it, and it's all kind of going. So that's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
I liked Warren as the messenger
yeah.
for this. I thought that was a cool idea.
I like Warren.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's kind of where the issue leaves us. So, I guess to some general thoughts. It seems like Max is dating Chloe in the real timeline. It's the vibe I've got. Like, they've held
Maybe.
hands a few times.
Yeah.
They haven't made it very overt, but that's the vibe I've got. And then the alternate timeline, Chloe and Rachel are together, since asking,
Probably, yeah.
Chloe, should I cancel our plans?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
in that one, Max comes back and is their friend, but Chloe and Rachel are dating, it seems like. And then maybe Max and Warren in this
Yeah,
timeline?
it seems like it.
I mean, Warren's kind of corny, so he'd say my Max about the Max in his timeline.
Yeah.
But also, like, since you could kiss him in the game at the end, too, it could make sense that
Yeah.
you could... Oh, and I guess you could choose to go on a date with him or not earlier on, like, to go see the Planet of the Apes things.
Let's go ape.
Yeah. Right, so apparently, yeah, it seems like that would be confusing jumping back and forth. That's what I was thinking in this, is that if they jumped and you're Max and you date Chloe now, but then you're in the other timeline and you realize that Chloe was dating Rachel on that one, like...
I'd be pissed.
Right, you'd be pissed, or you'd feel like, oh man, would Chloe have wanted to date Rachel instead of me?
Yeah.
Just Rachel's dead in the real timeline.
Yeah, that would
or whatever.
suck.
Like, I feel like this could be
raise a lot of questions.
Right, it'd be a breeding ground for making you feel insecure in your relationships or unsure. If you could time jump and see, oh, how am I doing in this one?
Yeah.
Or whatever.
That
like,
would suck.
Yeah, it seems like that's a unique consequence to their Max being able to time jump.
Yeah, it's really weird, and yeah, one thing I was thinking about too is like it's the three timelines I noticed. You got the main one, you got the Warren one, then you got the Rachel and Chloe and Max one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in each one, it's like so Max's person is Chloe. She gets replaced with Warren in one timeline. So Chloe gets replaced in another one. Sort of Max gets replaced by Rachel. So it's kind of like what you were describing, but yeah. And then especially in the Warren one, it's basically like Warren just took Chloe's place, and Warren just became not literally Chloe, but Max's right hand man, her person,
right?
Which is pretty weird. So it's probably good Chloe didn't see that.
Yeah.
But,
that's true.
Yeah.
She's like, never mind, I'm angry again.
Yeah. This is stupid.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. It's definitely interesting. I think too, I'm curious as to how the story is gonna wrap up in the next issue. Like in 20 pages, what are they gonna do to end this story? Like, it sounds like there may or may not be ongoing issues after this, like after 4. Because at first it was announced as a 4-issue thing, but then I think issue 1 sold a bunch, and so then they're like, never mind, it's an ongoing comic.
We want more money.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
Hey.
Which is cool.
Makes sense, yeah.
Right, I'll want to read them. Like, I'm still interested in that. But so I'm curious as to how they'll wrap up. Whether this will essentially be like chapter 1 of the Life is Strange comic, and so the 4 issues or something, and issue 5 starts a new thing.
Yeah.
Or if 4 will basically have a cliffhanger that 5 will just pick back up on, or like, how are they going to do that? Part of me thinks that I wonder if like the Prescotts are drawing them there somehow, and like if he has any like evil timeliney stuff.
Maybe.
Kind of thing. Which
Who knows, man? Yeah.
Yeah, which I don't know. I might, maybe that's from reading too much fan fiction, but a lot of fan fiction that I like will have him as kind of like the bad mastermind of Arcadia Bay, and that the storm is actually his fault. And that like he somehow is involved with like he knows about the timelines, and he's like the one person that's not them that knows about it. So if he's like trying to get them to Arcadia Bay to capture them or something. So I could see it going like a route like that, which would be kind of cool.
Yeah, interesting. I really hope they wrap up in the sense of wrapping up, like not ending the story. I'd for sure keep reading these, but if they can kind of explain, so if Max and Chloe can understand what's happening and why it's happening and have some sort of solution to it, maybe not fixed, but like if they could just move somewhere where no one is, like,
right.
But something like that, I would like that by the end of issue 4. Not for it to be done with, but some kind of closure.
Yeah.
Which would be, I think I'd really like that.
No,
it's confusing.
No, yeah, I would like that. I think that like this comic's definitely different than what I thought it would be going in, because part of me kind of thought what we could end up with to start was like, okay, Life is Strange after the storm, and it's Max and Chloe road tripping, essentially.
Yeah.
And it's just like, there aren't powers, but you like have to deal with like, man, we killed a town. Is that bad? You know, like, and it's like processing that, basically. That's kind of what I thought we would get. But then obviously we solved the timeline stuff a bunch, and so it's gone a way different way, which is still cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope they do figure out a thing like that. Like, I think it was helpful that they got some information that we got from Warren. because since we could see it, but it was good that they were told it, so that they can like try to navigate these timelines, flickers or whatever.
Yeah, it's weird that Warren wouldn't tell her more information because he's kind of hesitant to like say anything. I wonder why.
Yeah.
If like the Max in that timeline had to figure it out herself or with Warren, so maybe the Max in our current timeline has to figure it out herself too. Don't know why, but could be that. Something
in one fan fiction that I read is that if you like learn about stuff from a timeline that you're not a part of, or like, so you're like getting memories you don't have essentially, but you do sort of, it like fucks you up, like how Chloe getting the headache, like that kind of thing. So maybe he was worried that if he told her something she doesn't know, it could hurt her.
That could make sense. I mean, no idea.
Yeah,
time's weird.
I know. I feel like that's this one. Even more than the game, it makes me feel like time is weird. But time was weird in the game, but it was easier to track with, or at least you felt like you had some control in it because you had a rewind.
Yeah, you could just go back.
Yeah, you could just do stuff like that, or I don't know. Even when you did jump around, you kind of were like, okay, I'm jumping around. Like, but this one, like it feels a lot more abrupt and like things like that.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's a bad thing. I think it's just you feel time a lot in this. Even more than the main one, than the game, which is interesting.
Yeah, I think they did it really well. Like it's confusing enough to like, make me really interested in like, okay, what are they gonna do with this? But it's not so confusing that I'm like, I don't get this. This is stupid. So I think they've kind of toted that line pretty well.
Yeah,
like it's believable enough. I mean, it's still superpowers and time traveling, which is like, who knows? But it's believable enough. It's like, okay, I could see this happening if this power was a real thing, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, and confusing enough, too. I think you're right. It hits that line right. And confusing enough that you understand how the characters are confused.
Yeah.
Like, you're not like, come on, idiots. Like,
duh.
Right. Instead, you're like, yeah, this would be confusing that you're jumping, but since we have the benefit of being outside of it and you know, experiencing it more than once, stuff like that, we're like, okay, cool, I can track with it. But,
and having no one to ask about it until I guess maybe Warren now.
Oh, right.
Who would you ask? Like, how does time travel work? Like, no one really knows.
Right. It's like in the game you ask Warren about it some, but like, so I guess you have those memories, but like otherwise, not really. And if you're like, it seems like both of Max and Chloe too have struggled with like, they want to protect the other one from things related to this.
Yep.
So then they're not sharing. So like Max has had some of these time jump things happen, or she's getting nosebleeds, but she isn't telling Chloe about it. And, you know, in some sense, like, she doesn't know. Like, in the previous comics, when it was multiple Chloes in there, it didn't seem like she knew that was happening. Like, she didn't observe it.
Yep.
But also, like, she's getting nosebleeds. If you're Max, like, and you get a nosebleed, you should be like, all right, what's going on with time?
Like, something's happening.
Right. You don't just get nosebleeds like regular people. Like, you also get time-induced nosebleeds.
Yeah, you're doing something that isn't not normal. Right,
whether on purpose or not, but you should be like, so I've been getting nosebleeds. Have I, like, seemed different? Like, you know, you'd think I feel like she probably did think those, but she was afraid to bring them up to Chloe, because then Chloe on the other side is like, should I even be here? Or whatever. And then for Chloe on the other side, like, she doesn't want to make Max feel like, hey, like, probably I suck and you shouldn't have chose me, you know, or whatever. So, yeah. I think this is good that it's making them talk.
To answer some of these questions.
Yeah, to be able to move on, because it seems like they've probably tried to before, but it's been shorter quips and probably just trying to exist. And stuff instead of like addressing them. Whereas like in this issue and the one before, they were like addressed it a little better.
Yeah, I feel like you just got to rip the Band-Aid off at a certain point.
You're right.
It's just what they're doing in a weird way.
Right.
Really crazy way.
I guess just head to some listener feedback then. We got a little bit here. So Derek on Twitter wrote in and he said, I loved it. Every single frame and word. Great cameo too. Scares me for issue 4 and what's going to happen next.
Yeah. It's going to be hot. I don't know how they're going to wrap it up in one issue. If they do wrap it up. Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely eager to see what happens there. And it was cool to see Rachel. That was a cool
throwback.
Yeah, throwback. And that Max knows her. That's cool. That exists somewhere.
Max got to meet her.
Right.
in the present timeline.
Right, yeah, Max in the present timeline got to meet her, and that they know each other in a different one. Mm-hmm. And even like that Jefferson nod, like, oh yeah, he was still creeped to somewhere else.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, okay, cool.
There's
stuff
That's
happening.
like the timeline you want to be in right there.
Right, I know. Like, all right, let's try to get to this
I
one.
assume that Joyce is still alive, and Joyce is probably still alive, and that Chloe's dad's still alive too.
No, right, yeah, this seems like the perfect timeline.
Yeah, let's just go there.
Oh yeah, can we get back there?
There's a choice sometime. Choose that one.
Sorry, Max and Chloe that live there. We're taking over.
Yeah, you guys are gone.
Yeah.
Next, we got Epic Glitter on Twitter. Really liked it. Art's still fantastic. I think the timeline flicker stuff is well done. Liked the cameo. Really enjoyed seeing the Seattle crew again. And Pixie really made me smile. I was hoping we'd go beyond Gal Pals by issue 3, but for what we have to do, I'm enjoying it. Yeah. So it seems like they are kind of moving towards not just friends.
Yeah.
Because even like, I'm not sure if they're dating officially, quote unquote dating in the current Max and Chloe timeline.
Right.
But based on Pixie's song and her explanation, it seems like they're into each other and like everyone kind of knows it at least. Yeah,
that's true. Yeah, I guess if they're not together, everyone's like, come on, guys.
Yeah, come on, seriously.
Just do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been hard to tell. I've been like, are they? Like, they do all the little things that you're like, well, couples would do that, but maybe they're not.
Yeah.
So,
I wonder if we'll find out next comic.
That would make sense. That would be probably a payoff that, regardless of story things, if they like have something that affirms that, that would be like, cool, we know that answer now or whatever.
Yeah.
But, timeline flicker stuff is well explained. I like that.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Arcadia Bay Love on Twitter wrote in and said, really enjoyed it. Nice to see a special character as well. It's also intriguing and looking forward to issue 4. Yeah, looking forward to it. And yeah, Rachel showing up's cool.
Yeah. Last up, we got Chris on Twitter. Says, I feel like the whole reality jumping thing is a bit excessive and confusing for my part. I think we need Joyce and David back in the current timeline for the story I wanted to be told, which may never happen now. Sigh. Yeah, at various points, I think especially it was the last issue? It was issue 2, actually. I totally missed like half of the time jumps, so I was kind of confused about what's happening until I really realized it. And I think it helps that we talk about it.
Yeah.
If we didn't talk about it, I think I'd be probably more confused. But I definitely see that perspective too. I guess I would. I guess I don't want David back because I don't like David. Definitely want Joyce and like William back.
Yeah. I'd like. I hope Chloe gets to see Joyce at some point.
Yeah.
Like if there's a timeline she can. That would be nice.
Probably the one with Rachel.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. That would be nice.
Yeah.
I would like to see that for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I agree too. I think it does help that we talk about this when they come out, because I think if they didn't, I would probably read it once kind of fast, and I'd be like, oh, I like these things, but then there'd probably be like a bunch of things I'd miss because of the timeline stuff.
Yeah.
So I think instead, I think reading it a couple times, talking about it, that goes pretty far for me, and I think makes me like it even more, like because I'm not missing anything because I'm, whatever doing that. So
yeah, and I think it does make sense as much as I can grasp it. I mean, there's still some stuff I don't. Time is, we have to talk about. That's really weird. I don't really understand how that works at all. But like, I get like what they've explained about it, and like, I believe Max and Chloe, their experience of it seems like how it would be if I was in that position too. So
yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's what we got though for issue 3 from the Life is Strange comics. So please write in at TheGreatestStoryEverPlayed@gmail.com or on Twitter at StoryEverPod. Please rate and review us on iTunes. Let us know what you think about our show and all that stuff. And we will see you next time.
Later.